administrative assistant so she can make new stationery. Please.
Okay.
Picky, picky, picky.
Okay, we're ready to go. Good evening, everybody. This is Ann Kennedy from the Chair of the Land Acquisition and Preservation Committee, Town of Barnstable, September 12th meeting. We'll begin our meeting with an introduction of our members, starting with me. I'm the Chair and Vice Chair.
Farley Lewis, Hyannisport.
Elisa Crowley, Barnstable. Chris Clark, Town Council Liaison.
Doug Payson, Barnstable Village.
And Roland, Centerville.
Thank you. I'd like to invite our administrator, if she doesn't mind, to join us at the table. So this is everybody. I'd like you to meet Genevieve Zeno, and we're going to call her Jenna. Her last name is spelled Z-I-I-N-O. First name Genevey, which I think is very interesting.
Oh, thank you.
And we are so happy that you're here.
Yay.
So,
Thank you.
So before we go further, I have to read this for the record. Please note that this meeting is recorded and broadcast on Channel 18 in accordance with MGL Chapter 30A, subsection 20. I must inquire whether anyone is taping this meeting, and if so, please make their presence known. Seeing none, we'll continue. This ordinarily we would do the approval of the minutes. I just received them on Friday. They are extensive. I would like to have the opportunity to review them and also review the tape before I send it back to Jenna with a request that she send it back out to you. So you'll probably get them in midweek, I would say. And then we'll approve them next go-around, if that's okay. So the first order of business is to announce that October's meeting has been changed to October 3rd. It was posted as October 10th, which is Columbus Day. So I think that Jenna reached out to the committee, and by consensus, we chose the 3rd instead of the 17th. And that's good because that's before our walking weekend, which we're going to spend our evenings talking about, because I don't think there's any update on the conservation restrictions. I don't think there's any update on the Tracer Bridge construction proposal or Centerville Cranberry Bog, unless Councilor Clark has any information on the Cranberry Bog. None? Okay, how about Twin Brooks proposal? Does anybody on the committee have any update on the Twin Brooks project?
I don't know of anything other than I guess they're just awaiting the Cape Cod Commission's development agreement.
Okay, so the development agreement is still outstanding, is that, okay. Mm-hmm. So they have concluded all their public meetings?
Yes.
Okay. That's something I'll do before next meeting, is to look up that status. The open space and recreation plan, part of what we'll discuss tonight has to do with one of our action points within that, which is the creation of a walking library. So we'll talk about that in a second. As far as the Santuit Preserve, neither Phyllis Miller nor Tracy Pratt are with us tonight, but I do know that Phyllis has been trying to have the administrative staff set up a annual meeting for the Santuit Management Plan Committee, and we have not been able to formulate that yet, but we're working on that. And Farley, do you have anything to relate on the Community Preservation Committee open space applications?
I believe there's going to be a revised plan for the Armstrong Kelly Park coming up in the next meeting of the CPC, which will be the 19th, I think. So other than that, that's all I have.
No other open space?
No.
Do you have any specifics on the Armstrong Kelly Park?
The trustees are working on an alternative plan, and so it's quite detailed, so we'll have to wait and see when that comes out. Should be available in another week.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, and Chris, do you have anything to report on?
The town council hasn't missed a meeting in August due to posting, and our last meeting was relatively brief.
Oh, it was brief?
Yeah, I
Oh.
mean, I'm just saying, more administrative. There was a tribute to Paul Hebert as he was leaving the town council, and an update on the local comprehensive planning committee. So that's, they've been meeting once a month. I imagine that maybe there'll be an opportunity for this committee to weigh in on some of the aspects of it.
Are we Zooming still for town council?
No, the town council met in person.
Was that a first?
Yeah. I mean, considering that I was elected in November 2019 and COVID-19 happened in the year of 2019, we stopped meeting in person that spring, and this was
Yeah.
the first time since.
Wow.
Had to update my wardrobe.
Yes, from the neck up, from the waist up anyway. What was I going to say? Oh, so along those lines, we have a new committee member coming in. Her name is Catherine Gulliver. She has been nominated, entered into nomination for the first read, and then the next town council will be voted up or down for joining us in the committee. We assume that she'll be joining us next month. So, okay, I would like to devote the rest of the meeting to the walking weekend and the walking library.
Sorry?
Yeah.
Okay. In regards to the walking weekend, which is October 7th through that following Monday, I have so far 2 walks that have been submitted. One by the Barnstable Clean Water Coalition on Friday, October 7th, and one by BLT also on October 7th. And they're both, once BLT's walk starts at 9 and the Clean Water Coalition starts at 10. So I'm going to make it a little difficult to try to attend both of those on the same day. But nonetheless, I'm very pleased to have them both supporting this weekend, and looking forward to hearing other people's and getting other people's walks as soon as possible.
Where is the Barnstable Clean Water Walk?
It is going to be
Whistleberry?
on River Road, 948 River Road. Yep. So,
Are they, is their focus going to be on the bog that they're?
yes, yes.
they're-
The restoration.
Restoration project?
Yep.
That would be good.
Yep.
Barnstable Land Trust, where are they going?
Okay, well, now, you have to register, pre-register for their walk, and it is going to be in the West Barnstable Conservation Area. So it's a fairly lengthy hike. It's 4.4 miles, about 2.5 hours. So,
Okay, so we obviously need some walks in the afternoon and for Saturday and Sunday.
Saturday, Sunday.
I do
Monday.
plan to do some.
Okay,
Have
great.
you reached out to Ian Ives?
I did. Yeah.
And his walk was very well attended in the long pasture.
Yes, well, I went to his walk last spring, yeah, and I did email him several times about this, but I sense that they may be in a busy season right now.
Oh, it's busy, right?
Yeah, stuff.
Had their wildlife festival, so maybe now you could get a response from
their
them.
staff was having a retreat or something like that. Did you hear that?
Oh, I didn't know.
They had a festival this weekend. That was a big deal, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. So, who knows?
Yeah.
And I had spoken to Mark Wurton also,
Yes,
if he would do one in West Barnstable.
What did he say?
He said, reach out to me, so the,
He's been on this email list that I sent out to everybody, but I haven't heard anything
Yeah.
from him. If you're in touch
I'll
with
give
him.
him a call.
Oh, that'd be excellent.
They stopped at my house the other day, so.
Okay.
Okay, so and do you think Catherine Gulliver would be interested?
I have to find out. We can ask her,
I know she does walks.
She does, yep.
And
So-
did you ever get in touch with or did the person from the senior center ever get back to you?
No,
Okay.
no.
Excuse me, Doug, can you ask Mark to do Falcon Road?
Well, that's what I was going to ask him. I still haven't done it with him because I had a conflict with a walk that I was leading. So I'll try to do in the afternoon on Friday instead of in the morning. It's too bad both that those walks are so close together. I wonder if they could push one up.
Yeah. I could try. I know Kelly's probably, her walk is a long walk, so I
Yes.
think, she probably gets difference. And I don't know whether I can push,
Is Casey leading the walk?
she's no
No,
longer
she
with
left.
Oh, that's right, you told me that.
Defected.
I can get to my car and get information about the Meeting House Farm Walk.
okay.
It's on my phone. I'm sorry.
Oh,
So who's the one that's leading the walk at the Clean Water one?
I think that's going to be Heather Rockwell.
Heather?
Heather, yeah.
Oh, the Heather that we know?
No, not,
Not that Heather,
Not
okay.
that Heather, no,
Okay,
that's
so,
Heather McElroy.
Heather, I know her, actually. She worked for
yeah,
Long Pasture at one point. And
3 days with.
3 bays?
With
Yeah,
Lindsay.
okay.
Yeah, mhm, yeah.
So, yeah, so maybe she would move it up to Saturday morning.
I can try.
Yeah, well, that would be good, because,
I
you know,
I
that
would, but
Barnstable Land
I think a lot
Trust,
of people like to have their weekends open, so I'm not counting on that,
yeah.
yeah. So,
But even maybe if the early afternoon or something.
yeah.
I had kind of thrown out the idea of doing a cross-town walk. Do you think there would be any interest, like going
Going
from
from-
the Sandwich line to the Yarmouth line along the Red Trail?
That's a long walk, and I don't know.
Have you done it yet?
Oh, I've done it.
You
Marty
have?
and I have done it. Yeah,
Maybe we'd have to do a trial walk first and see how long it
It's
took.
12 miles.
yeah.
No, thank you, I'm not going on that one.
I don't know how much, you might get some interest. It'd be interesting to
Yeah.
throw it out
You
there.
might get
and see.
younger people.
Exactly.
Right.
Well, especially if you were your usual historic self, you know, and had something to say, you know?
Yes.
And that's what makes a walk interesting.
Plus, you could give people the opportunity to drop out, like in Barnstable Village,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and that might make it more palatable,
Well,
so to speak.
it would make it, what, from the Sandwich line to Barnstable Village? What's that, about 7 miles? And
That's
then
what I was gonna say. yeah.
Longer, because from Weldon
That's true,
Library to
yeah.
Sturgis is 7
Miles, yeah.
Is it?
True.
Oh,
Yes.
boy, okay.
And
Yeah,
then you'd be basically doing the same
Yeah.
trails that.
Yeah.
it's easily 12 miles in that case, I think,
Yeah.
now that I'm thinking about it.
Or you could have people join you at
Yeah.
Barnstable Village, too.
Just to
Right.
break it up.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Cape York
Either
used to
drop-
kind of end.
Drop out or join
Meeting-
Join.
Drop off or join at the courthouse.
at the jail.
And now, the trouble is, of course, is getting through that, behind the
Right.
county farm area. You'd have to sort of do
The
some
trail is
finagling.
still marked there.
No, I know that, but,
Yeah.
you know,
not
you might
partic-
have to get, permission.
Lynn?
You might get shot.
The hike that Will Holden led a number of years ago worked out well. And that started at, behind the fire station in West Barnstable and ended, he took it all the way out to the end of Millway Beach in Barnstable. And that, I think that was pretty manageable. But the only thing was that a lot of people got to Barnstable Village and then they bailed and they, well, the people that.
Went
got
to the dolphin.
Yeah, got stranded at Millway or, you know, that was the thing, you needed a little more cohesion as far as that.
Well, the
is
other
concerned.
As far as
thing would
cars
be
being in
doing-
between.
Shuttle.
Doing the Mary Dunn Road to Willow Street to show where the bike path is going to go. That,
You could do
Yeah.
that. That's a dicey
there's
deal.
parking all along there.
Well,
Oh, yeah, there
I
is.
don't
Mary
find that
Dunn,
a
you mean
particularly
walk along
pleasant walk.
Mary Dunn Road?
No,
Oh,
where the
okay.
bike path is going to go through the
Trail
woods.
close to the
Yes,
road.
yes, okay.
There's a beautiful viewpoint.
Yeah.
You can see all of Hyannis Harbor from a hill there.
Oh, I
yeah,
know,
yeah.
I know. I've walked through it.
Area?
No,
From in the woods.
in the
No.
woods. You
Matter of
gotta
fact, the
look.
state should
Oh, you
really
and
put
the-
like a little viewpoint there. They own that
Oh,
land.
they do own it. 'cause-
Yeah, they own all
You
of that.
probably should verify, wait till that bike path is confirmed.
That route is confirmed.
Okay.
That's the to Mary Dunn Road.
Oh, okay, okay.
It's that
It's
the
next
town
leg.
has failed to do anything from Mary Dunn Road to the Sandwich Line.
I don't know if it's the
That's the-
town, as I told you.
Yeah.
I'm not sure it's the town that's failed. I think there's, or the state, I don't know what the situation is, but I think there's a land swap situation going on.
Oh, you probably just don't want to advertise things incorrectly because it could stir the pot.
Yeah, I don't know what the situation is there.
No, but that route from, it's already public land. The trail's already
I
marked
know.
there.
But it's kind of creepy.
It is creepy.
Is that the Fish and Wildlife land?
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
So they have jurisdiction.
Diction.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Hmm.
But that doesn't mean you can't do a walk through it, does it? Or do you have to get
I
permission?
think there's some water protection concerns.
Yeah, but that's way,
Okay.
this is right along paralleling Route 6
Yeah,
essentially.
it's where we have a conservation restriction behind
okay.
Everly.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah.
Well, if you don't mind me, I can share that Judy DeRocher sent to me a message that she and Joe Leary will lead a walk at the Meeting House Farm.
Okay.
So the title is Meeting House Farm, a Barnstable Treasure. I sent this to you, for Saturday, the 10th at 10 a.m.
Oh, good. Okay,
May the
great.
10th at 10.
Okay, that's great.
Are you going to contact them and
Yes.
and
Saturday
confirm
night.
that
Wait,
as part of our
Saturday
group?
is the 8th, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then the 10th would be Monday, the holiday? Yes?
I bet you it's Saturday, and she mixed up the time
Yeah.
at 10 with October 10. I'll verify that. Sorry, thanks for picking up on that. So 3/4 of a mile, it's an hour walk. It's going to be a narrative to talk about the history of that area and the purchase. 2 decades ago, there's community gardens there, a labyrinth, that's a meditative labyrinth
Yeah.
that just had its installation this past spring, I believe.
Oh,
So anyways, that's a different feature.
yes, I think that
That'd
would
be
be a
nice.
nice addition.
that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if we can just clarify the date, that
Yeah.
would be great.
The other thing we wanted to start getting together to do is the library, walking library on on our website. We need to have a group that will work with Jenna to do that. And Jenna needs to let us know when a good time for us to raid your office and sit down with you and talk about that, the particulars of that. And I think it was Farley was going to be on that committee, right?
I would be happy to
Okay.
be part of that.
I'm
Doug,
interested
Lisa?
also, yeah.
If I can chime in, please? I mean, this has been in the work for maybe a decade. But the notion is to begin collecting information on these walks. A lot of that information's already been captured with the information that's been culled for our spring and fall walks. But to be able to post them on the town's website in more than one place, LAPC, Conservation, Recreation, so that interested walkers or hikers, residents or visitors, could look at this in a spreadsheet style and sort it by, you can change it, the sorting, by village, by duration, the 2.5 hour walk versus an hour walk. Some people don't have that stamina. The length and distance, the description of terrain, is it rocky, hilly, challenging, or flat?
Yeah, degree of difficulty. Yeah.
And with each one of these would be a map. And many of these maps are already been prepared over the years by GIS, so that people could then say, okay, I'm going to go to Katuitt for this 2-hour walk on my own, print the map, and take it with them whenever and at their convenience.
Yeah.
We could also post these trails on All Trails. You can do that for
Some
free.
of them already are.
Yeah, you can do that for free. That's
Sure.
a national website that,
A lot of the trails are already on there.
yeah, but they
Yeah.
can be named. In other words, we can name them like you know,
Old Jail Loop or something
the Old
like
Jail
that.
Loop or the Hathaway's Pond
Well,
Trail.
the whole point is to make sure that the trails are designed so that
Road.
people come back to their cars, that they are,
Yeah, like, whoops.
They find their way home.
Keep walking, maybe you take a bus back.
but also to have it sortable within the town of Barnstable only, so that
Oh, Uber.
that people who are more rugged might want more challenging terrain and length, but those that don't want anything as challenging, but once they have been on one of our walks, might know, okay, now I know where to go, or it'll be familiar to me, but they want the assurance of having a map. Another feature, I know this is off our typical discussion, as somebody else mentioned to me that we might want to, if we're able to, mention where the nearest bathrooms are.
Yeah, we could highlight, conveniences and highlights, like if it's a talk about, I don't know, like the clean water one, the Cranberry Restoration Project would be the feature there, or, I don't know, Ian's walk.
But that one will almost always have to be guided. This
Yeah.
is not, these are more like
Private property and stuff, yeah. Well, and that's the other thing, you put down guided, private, needs, guided walk or whatever. You can put all that information in. But I like the idea of Doug had, that we name it so that they become,
We have defined walks, and then also, I've always tried with my walks to incorporate the sidewalks and bike paths into the accessing the woodland trails.
Right.
So that we're encouraging people to not, I still think we're using a dated model on Cape Cod where we drive to a place, we park, we do a walk, we get back in the car, we drive somewhere else. And younger people don't want that. They have a different notion of, it's the same thing with all of our trails now are being heavily used by mountain bikers, like heavily used.
How about e-bikes? Have you seen many e-bikes?
I haven't yet.
Okay.
And the trails that I walk on, I think would be somewhat difficult for e-bikes because they turn a lot, but I haven't seen yet, and we probably have to develop a policy. The town has to develop a policy on it.
well, the state has developed an e-bike policy within the Department of Conservation and Recreation, and I do have that, so I could circulate that within the committee. And, if necessary, we could ask the town council to adopt a local policy or, where necessary, ordinances having to do with e-bikes, because actually the state was pretty, they made a compromise between the e-bike users and the natural trail people. And so it was a good compromise. Not everybody's happy, but it was a good compromise. So I'll dig that up and send that around.
I think one issue would be speed. I know because in Cape Cod National Seashore, bicycles are restricted to 20 miles an hour because I know a woman who's gotten 2 tickets for bicycling faster than 20 miles an hour.
Oh, my
in Cape
goodness.
Cod
Well,
National
good for her
Seashore.
for doing that.
Mad as a hornet. But
But then they have rangers there.
Yeah.
Yeah, enforcement in the
Enforce,
woods.
yeah.
yeah.
We have
Well,
no-
what's going to happen in this town is it's going to be people who are run over by those.
Yeah, well, I think there is, you know, a certain level of concern about e-bikes just because they move along at a speed, you know, that most walkers wouldn't ever expect. And, you know, I think it can be disruptive and perhaps unsafe at times, depending on the situation.
Some of the mountain bikers do that also.
Also,
I've
yeah.
had to step out of a trail behind a tree
Yeah.
to avoid
Wow.
being run over by a mountain biker.
Well, this is, you know, this is an assisted, you know,
Oh, I-
vehicle.
and they're heavy.
Which is different from a mountain bike. And, you know, so I think it's going to be a topic of discussion perhaps as we go along. So we'll see. But,
Well, and also
yep,
the lack of education and enforcement of people
Yeah.
on bicycles on the sidewalks traveling at a
that's
high
another
rate
issue.
of speed.
Yeah,
And we're not accommodating cyclists with a bike lane, and as a result, they're on the sidewalks. And
right.
particularly where I live in Barnstable Village, there are hundreds of people on the sidewalk with
Yeah.
people with bicycles moving at a rapid rate on the sidewalk.
Well, that's not against the law to ride a bike on the
In the
sidewalk.
village, it's against the law.
You sure?
In a, yes, in a
so.
designated town center, it is against the law. See, that's why I think we need, that would be a policy, and, because it's inevitable, the conflicts. There's just way too, with COVID, there's so many people who are outdoors now.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, for me to drive from the village to my house, which is 1 mile, I may see 25 people on the sidewalk.
I know. So people that, I remember one counselor said to me once, you don't need sidewalks in Barnstable Village. I said, are you kidding? The people, you know, love their sidewalks in Barnstable Village, so, yeah.
We do.
That's because there were, you know, sidewalks like on 132 from Finney's down to like Burger King, and nobody walks on those. But, you know,
Part of the reason is there are no trees. There are no trees along
Yeah.
there, and pedestrians, because I walk that loop sometimes.
Yeah.
I walk that loop sometimes all the way around. Main Street,
Up Finney's,
the other way. 132 and back down.
Finney's.
I don't,
That does not appeal to
appeal
me.
is
No,
that
there's
too much
too many
traffic.
cars.
Yeah.
Too many cars.
Yeah.
No cars.
But it should be transportation.
Yes.
We have major cultural institutions. Cape Cod Community College with 16,000 students, the YMCA with thousands of members, the symphony, not
The conservatory?
the conservatory with hundreds of members, housing there now. You know, this is a city.
yeah. Well, I'm still trying to get sidewalks from 132 to Barnstable Village. They exist, but they are like, so, but you got ADA requirements that conflict with the historic nature of the village as far as, you know,
The width of the
stone
sidewalk,
walls, et cetera, trees, that kind of stuff. So they want to take down that stuff to put up the sidewalk, and people are resisting to that, which I don't blame them. But, so
That's hard.
there's a compromise in there somewhere, too.
You can replant trees, you can't, the people that are killed, you can't.
Yeah, and that's
Place.
another sidewalk that's well-used.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kids walk there from school to the Sturgis Library all the time. But- So I don't have anything to add unless you do, but I really do think that you guys should
Okay.
get a date from Jenna and start that ball rolling.
Okay.
In terms of getting together for
Yeah.
the library?
Yes, really set that
Yeah.
up, because it's not going to be done overnight. So
Yeah,
you've got to compile information, and you've got to figure out where you want to put it and how it's going to look.
yep. I am going to be away for a couple of weeks. I know you're away. Sort of, yeah. So I don't know about other people, whether you have time.
So you're talking October, maybe?
Yes,
Yeah,
Yes.
so October is
mid-October
until the 21st.
is when you're back.
Yeah.
Okay.
After that, that's okay.
Is that okay? Yeah. All right. Okay, so Jenna, we meet with you. When would be a good date? do you
I
think?
I can send around a doodle poll, and then we
Okay.
can align everybody's
That would be great.
availability, and then we don't have to guess, because I'm pretty flexible.
Okay.
So I can send that around via email,
Okay.
and then we can get
Excellent.
that set up.
Okay, great, that's
tomorrow.
terrific.
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you.
You're
Yeah.
welcome.
We also may want to coordinate with New England Mountain Biking Association to have a parallel,
Yeah,
the way they have the trails on the Cape Cod Chamber of Commerce website, the mountain biking trails, because that's become extremely popular.
yeah, I know Lev Melikoff is involved in that, and Bill Bowles. Those are two people that we can get in touch with.
I mean, I'm just trying to think, if we're really pedestrian-oriented more so than
Right.
bikes.
Let's start with
So,
one.
yeah.
We've been working on this for so long.
Yeah,
I'd-
but there's going to be some cross-section.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
and I don't know that we should be worried about them. I don't think I think they have some good resources to maintain these trails.
Yeah.
This group is respectful of walkers. And so, I mean,
So if we were going to align ourselves with anybody right now, it'd be with BLT.
Okay.
And so that's just my thought.
well, we can start there
Yeah,
and see how far we get.
All right, okay, good.
Like Chris said, start small.
Well, I know,
Start, yeah.
wonderful, wonderful map that they've crafted, that does the whole length of the village. And actually, I was just thinking, and maybe I can talk to BLT about this, but like on the ordinance survey maps that you get, Great Britain, they have pubs, they have restrooms, they have, all kinds of parking, all that stuff is all on their maps. So it's a very nice feature.
Yes,
Yeah,
so
fine.
we have to identify where our pubs are.
Exactly.
Walk up the sidewalk here. There's 70 of them along Main Street right there.
That'll be a good walk. Well, so,
Yeah.
all right, well, anything anybody else wants to talk about this evening? Is there anything else on the action, on our master plan, the open space and recreation plan that we should be tackling, in your view?
Yeah, I do. I do think that we should revisit the areas that were recommended for municipal water, new water sources.
Yes.
And that was done, I forgot when. Do you remember? It was,
Yeah, it was
we were started with
before
Barnstable,
2015, so it was like
2012 or something?
2012, I think. Because I remember that's when we started with the Breeds Hill. So, and we're still, 10 years later, still dealing with Breeds Hill, but, oh well.
But that needs updating, because some of those places, like Falcon Road, was on that list and now is in town ownership. And some are probably now been resold and not available.
So we should, relook at those lists. Yep. Okay. Does anybody else have anything they want to add? And if not, could I entertain a motion to adjourn?
I just have one quick question. On the Armstrong Kelly Park, does the trustees of the reservations intend to keep it free?
Yes. First I know.
But there's some question whether or not there should be a conservation restriction on that or not. Yep, I think that was one of the issues.
It was.
Because they're asking for money from the Community Preservation Act, so they need to put a preservation restriction on it.
Yep.
So, does anybody have a motion to adjourn, Ms. Alyssa?
I move we adjourn.
Is there a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thank you. We're all set.
So anybody who has a walk or knows of a walk, get them to me.
I'm going to do both.
Okay.
I'm going to,
Okay.
well, now we've flushed out when
We're
some
done,
of the
thank
other
you.
walks are.
Yeah, okay. I'm thinking that the people that would grow on the Barnstable Clean Water Coalition Walk wouldn't necessarily be the